So what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a false belief that a person acquires as a result of making an incorrect conclusion about something in life. It's a belief that limits what you believe is possible for yourself or what you will allow in your life. And it's also a judgment about yourself that you think to be true that restricts you in some way, that holds you back. Limiting beliefs results from excuses, negative thoughts, worries, beliefs, conditioning from culture or family, perfectionistic thinking, and of course, past failures, which all become fear. So we're paralyzed by fear. Here's a noteworthy quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So whatever you think to be true, you are correct. You are what you think. So whatever you think in your mind to be true, that becomes reality for you. Again, perception is reality. So what do you believe? Do you believe that you can and will have more than you ever dreamed possible on an ongoing daily basis? Or do you believe that, you're just going to fail? Every time you do something, you fail. Why? Because you failed before. And so again, it's just a matter of, history. Whatever you believed before could happen again. And so you're repeating history. One of the reasons why we don't believe in ourselves is because our unconscious beliefs cripple our results. So if you believe something that's not true and it impacts you negatively, it becomes an unconscious belief and you just react unconsciously. You don't think about it. It just happens by nature. That's what you keep thinking over and over again. Beliefs have the power to create and the power to destroy. What is a belief? It's a feeling of certainty about what something means. So you have to love certainty. The challenge here is that most of our beliefs were unconsciously created based on our interpretations of painful and pleasurable experiences in our past. Again, our beliefs are developed, are formed by the things that happened to us in the past. The past does not dictate the present unless you continue to live there. Again, don't live in the past, leave it where it belongs. But forget the past and remember the lesson. That's important. But remember what the lesson was, not the fact that it was so painful. And if your beliefs don't empower them, change them. Limiting beliefs produce limiting results. And so change your beliefs. Some of the most common limiting beliefs we tell ourselves is the fear of failure. Everyone hates to fail, but for some people, failing presents such a significant psychological threat that their motivation to avoid failure exceeds their motivation to succeed. The fear of failure is the number one most common fear holding us back from success. So whenever you want to try to do something new, if you procrastinate, if you put it off, there's a fear involved there, and that fear is a failure. Well, what if I don't succeed? What if I failed in the past? So what if I fail again? So I don't want to do that again. I'm scared. So I won't try. Fear destroys our psychology and immobilizes us from taking action. Fear of failure is the most common of all fears, as we talked about. We fear not being able to live up to others' expectations. We fear being labeled a failure or a loser. We fear making a fool of ourselves. What if I put up my hand? What if I ask a question? What if I do something and I look foolish? I don't want to take that chance. We fear the unknown, xenophobia. Xenophobia is a psychological term which means fear of strangers or fear of the unknown. But basically, the real translation is fear of strangers. That's xenophobia. We fear losing our security. I have to stay in this job. I have to stay, and I have to keep doing this because what if I lose my security? What if, I can never find another job? Those kind of things immobilize us. They stop us from growing. We fear success. What if I succeed? Then I have to be responsible for other people, and that might be difficult. We fear change. Change is one of the biggest things we fear. And we fear, you fill in the blanks. Remember, failure is an event, not a person. It's not you, it's the event. The secret is learning how to use fear instead of letting fear use you. Fear is the path to the dark side. Dark side is negativity, anger or hate, and hate leads to suffering, those kind of things. Limiting belief number 2, poor time management skills. This is a big one. I don't have time. Well, you have the same number of hours in a day as everyone else in the world. We have 24 hours. Why are some people able to capture every moment while others consistently use lack of time as an excuse? Think about that. There are people who are very successful that do so much in a 24-hour period, and others can't seem to get half of what they expect to do in any given day. And why is that? Time management, perhaps? Limiting belief number 3, I don't have the willpower. Willpower is not something we're born with. It's a skill we can learn, a muscle we can exercise, a tool that leads to results, like running a marathon. We have to constantly improve our brain by reading and by learning new things every day. Otherwise, it'll atrophy, like our muscles atrophy when we don't exercise. They lose their shape, So it's the same thing with our brain. And our willpower can also be exercised. Limiting belief number 4 is the fear of rejection. This is probably one of the biggest fears that most people have when they're looking for work. They might procrastinate writing that cover letter or resume, sending it to an employer because they don't want to be rejected. They don't want to lose faith or face. Remember, employers are very busy. If they didn't contact you or they didn't hire you for that position, they didn't reject you as a person. Maybe they just had an internal candidate. They hired someone who was already there in their organization, or they just hired someone who had better skills than you or different skills. That doesn't mean that you can't overcome those limitations. Limiting belief number 5, I don't have what it takes to succeed. In order to achieve success, you need to first commit to making a change in yourself. And setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. So if you feel you're invisible, that people don't want you in their environment or organization or whatever, don't look at yourself as invisible of people not noticing you, whether it's on social media or online, or if you're applying for a job. Always think that you are visible. And think about this. The 2 words, I am, are the 2 of the most powerful words you can ever use. Whatever you put after these 2 words shape your reality. So I am wonderful, I am fast, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am rich, I'm smart, I am an inventor, I am confident. Whatever you put after that is very powerful, and you really believe those words, then you can create that reality. I know for sure that that's happened to me many, many times, and it's happened to other people I know. So try to frame those 2 words as something that you can really pursue as being something powerful that will change your life. I am. Limiting beliefs number 6, I could never do that. And again, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So when you look at this idea that I can't sing, or I can't, play music, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, think again, and again. If you don't succeed the first time, try again.